Hey, welcome, guys, once again to the Seattle Sports Union podcast. My name is Abraham, that's Ham, and this feller to my right is one Brian Soulman. Solack, how you doing, Soulman?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. We decided to come down to the Aquasox Stadium, that is Funko Field, on a day off, just because we wanted to get some of the vibe for our podcaster, didn't we?
Absolutely. Good call.
Hey, not bad. We're over here in right field, overlooking Freddie Funko, the 16-foot tall statue, who peers over and protects our glorious stadium.
He does. That's such a great addition, though.
It is really cool. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's a family-friendly product that goes along with the environment and the team that we love.
Definitely. Hopefully it doesn't rain here, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to get right to the podcast because the clouds are looming quite strong, and we have many things to talk about. Okay, Soulman, I want to talk about our Seattle Mariners. So right now we got three players. So before we get to the Cardinals series, I want to talk about three minor leaguers who have made their way to the All-Stars Futures game every year. The Major League Baseball has the best of the best from the minor leagues, right?
Yes, they do. And this year we got the three players like you're talking about, and I'm happy to see this because it's a rarity that teams get as many as more than two players to go. So
I believe only two other teams got three players, and a lot of teams didn't even get one.
yeah, which has been us for the past few years. So
Is that a testament to the recent trades from Jerry Dipoto?
I'll give him credit there where credit's due. Yes, because Jared Collette, I still can't say his name. Yeah, and Justin Dunn, we got in the Cano trade from the Mets.
Was Evan White homegrown?
He was homegrown, yes, during the Dipoto era. What was it? 2017 draft, I believe.
Yeah,
first round pick.
Why don't you tell me and the listeners a little bit about Evan White? I know he's one of my favorites, but I want to get your input on him.
He's our future first baseman. His defense is top notch. He had I want to say 22, 23 game hitting streak earlier in the season. The guy can hit for power and hit for average. He's probably got 10, 11 home runs at the All-Star break.
13, I believe.
13 now. Okay.
Yeah, I got him keeping track.
No, I'm excited for the future for this kid, and I hope I hope he gets brought up in September, given a chance.
Jared Kelenic is the crown jewel of a recent trade, right?
He is the crown jewel. He's our future, probably left fielder. I say maybe 2 years. At this rate, he'll be up in 2 years.
Who'd he come over for? I keep getting this wrong.
Robbie Cano and Edwin Diaz.
Okay, great. And Justin Dunn, where's he from?
Same thing. We got him in the trade for Cano and Diaz. He's more of a relief pitcher. His stats are like 6 wins this year so far. His ERA is over 3, but he's solid. He's a future, maybe possible closer. It wouldn't surprise me.
Very nice, and that makes up for the loss of Edwin Diaz.
Absolutely.
Great. So with 3 players there and additionally more to come, is Dipoto changing your mind as to a person who can find talent?
I guess we'll see what the next few weeks what happens with the trade deadline coming up at the end of July, because as you and I both know, he trades everybody whenever he gets a chance. What I was reading on Twitter the other day, one guy predicted Jerry Dipoto will make 3.5 more trades before July 31st.
Oh, wow. Kind of my thought on this one, Soulman, is that seeing's believing. I love to see what they're doing in the minors, but then again, I love seeing James Paxton, Taijuan Walker, and Danny Holtzen. Not a darn one of them is on the team anymore.
Oh, I like that too. I agree with you.
I need to see it to believe it. Holtzen never made it. Walker is kind of floundering.
He's been hurt a lot too.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the kid.
Same with Paxton. So I'm excited for these 3, but who knows?
Speaking of Paxton, I just have to throw this out there. I was watching a Yankee game the other night. I was wondering who this tall kid was throwing left-handed, all clean shave, short hair. And then it took me 2 innings to realize it was James Paxton. because they have their their short hair policy.
That's right. That's right.
I had to share that anyway.
Do they have an eagle policy? No eagles attacking theirs.
Oh, that's flying close.
That seagull is flying close. So anyway, for those of you out there, we're outdoors again at Funko Field, just hanging out and talking about sports. So the Seattle Mariners dropped 2 of 3 to the Cardinals, and on SeattleSportsUnion.com, I wrote a pretty scathing article. A lot of bitterness on my end as a Mariners fan. I really took the Mariners to task that what we ended up with here was a situation where 20 years, 17, I understand, but let's just call it 20, just for nice round numbers, of futility and just utter humiliation of being a Mariners fan. Whereas if I were a St. Louis fan, Soulman, it's been about 20 years of nothing but goodness. They've only had one losing season.
Yeah, St. Louis is a great franchise. They just got a lot of rich history there. I'm not surprised they came in and did well against us. And again, anybody does well against us, but no, St. Louis they've been to the World Series at least twice in the 2000 decade.
Yeah.
And they won, I want to say they won one championship in 2013.
I think they won 2. They won one against the Rangers.
20, okay.
And then one against the Tigers.
It's just great, top-notch organization. Managers have been great.
Here's something that I think about, Soulman. Like, people like Matthew Page, our senior editor at Seattle Sports Union, people like him, what they don't understand is that excellence starts in that front office, and it has nothing to do with slavishness towards some numbers. I mean, whether it be how much the ticket receipts are going for, or how much their WAR is, or their WRC plus. It's an ability to put together good people, talented people, and foster an environment for them.
Absolutely,
to succeed.
The ownership spends money. They know how to spend their money wisely. And calling out Matt Page on this one, those are some words. I'd love to hear your remarks.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you right now. I mean, again, you can go to SeattleSportsUnion.com, check out my recent blurb on their futility against the Cardinals in comparison. But specifically, what I find the Mariners doing every year is either throwing the money at the problem. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Not, if you're just spending it, like you said, incorrectly, or I find them slavishly abiding to some statistical analysis format and not being smart about individual human psychology, or I find them just flat out drafting based off of box scores rather than going out there and seeing if the guy is actually any good. And again, like you said, they trade away young guys without giving them a chance, without coaching them. They're terrible. For 18 years, they've been terrible, Soulman.
They haven't done one good thing right ever since 2001, and then again 2001 they choked in the playoffs.
There's only one guy I can think of that's come up their minors that they coached right, and that's Felix. Maybe James Paxton too. They just haven't been able to do it, and they don't put the right people in the place.
No, they don't.
To get it done.
Gosh, is there really anybody else that has come up in the minor leagues in the last 20 years?
The ones that we trade all seem to do well. Sin-Chu Chu.
Yeah.
Who's that cat from that we traded to the White Sox, center fielder?
Oh my gosh. I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about.
He was pretty darn good. I mean, just there's a litany of just
Adam
tremendous
Jones.
players. Adam Jones, yep.
We talked about that trade
George
the other night.
Sherrill, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so this Sunday there's going to be a documentary on the MLB Network about the 1995 Mariners. I'm pretty stoked about it. How about you, Soulman?
I am stoked. I saw that last night. I did not know that until last night, and obviously I set my DVR in case I'm not able to watch it. But it looks like they're going to talk about how how Seattle baseball was saved in Seattle. Is that correct?
Yeah, Harold Reynolds and the Major League Network put it together, and it's about just probably the single greatest sports moment in our lives.
Absolutely.
I guess it's not a moment; it's like a year, like a whole season. But I mean, it's the difference between us talking about the Mariners and us talking about I don't know. I mean, we'd talk about Seahawks already, but I mean, it would be an entire summer of nothing. Maybe that's what it is. We would be talking about nothing.
Nothing. There you go.
We might not even have a sports page because there'd be nothing to talk about. Honestly, I come here to the Sox game, Soulman, because there is a link. That's the first reason why I came to this team, is because there's a link to the Mariners.
Absolutely. I mean, I started coming here with my kids about 10, 12 years ago, and obviously because it's linked to the Mariners, but also because we all love baseball, and it's just very family-friendly here. And now they're trading all their players away, but so far so good this season.
Where were you in '95?
Great question. I was in Seattle, working in Seattle, but the day of the hit when Edgar hit it down the line, the recording they play all the time with Dave Niehaus, probably the best ever. I was at my apartments in Mount Lake Terrace with my wife and her friend watching it on TV. I remember it as of yesterday. I can't remember much, but that's so clear in my mind.
Very cool. That year I was in Cheney, Washington.
Okay.
I decided not, in my infinite wisdom, I decided not to come back to Seattle for the summer. Because oh man, you went to Wazoo, you know this.
I know.
Like that stupid drive from Cheney to Seattle, from Pullman to Seattle.
Yep.
It's a grinder, and just that year I decided, what the heck for?
Yeah.
I
don't blame you.
You know, the Mariners have been wretched. That there was nothing to go see down there, and I wanted to see Summer on the East Side, and guess what I missed? I missed '95 Mariners. I did get to watch it on TV, though.
You did?
Yeah. Mariners are very big on the East Side, and especially that year. I mean, that captured a lot of new fans. Probably not just on the East Side, but here. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about the Angel? Were you over there for the Angel game, too?
I was,
Okay, yeah.
The Mark Langston played that day?
He was pitching against us that day, yeah.
In fact, he was pitching against the guy who was traded for it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
Randy
right.
Johnson. And, that was fascinating, and I was all nerves. I'm going to be honest. I was pretty much coincided. I was coincided that we weren't going to win. Mm-hmm. I didn't think we were going to win. Did you have hope? I didn't have hope.
I didn't have hope. But then they had the winning streak, and hope was quickly achieved. And I mean, that's right. Earlier that season, Griffey got hurt too. I remember, and all my hope did go down the drain then. But such a memorable season that was. I think that Angels game. I remember I was going to Seattle Central, and I went out during my break to sit in the parking lot to listen to it, and I heard the best moments then. So that's kind of cool.
You were out in Ellensburg?
No, I was Seattle Central. Actually, I finished my degree over at Seattle Central. They had a Wazoo program.
Seattle Central College. Okay.
Yeah. I just went outside and listened to Rick Riz with the call. What's his face? Who hit the triple and he scored on the air. I can't think of his. Gosh, I'm so.
And I like my Seattle Sounders, and I enjoy our Everett Silvertips. What makes baseball a little bit different to watch? Or I'm sorry. What makes baseball a little bit different to listen to on radio that these other sports don't really capture?
That's a great question.
Like, I can listen to basketball and I can listen to baseball. Football, kind of.
Kind of. I don't know. These you got to have the right announcers, and we've been blessed here with Dave Niehaus, Rick Riz, and Pat Dillon of our own Everett Aqua Sox. They just know how to tell the ball game, make it interesting. It's kind of like telling a story. I mean, they come up with great quotes or whatever during the game, and just it keeps you entertained. I used to turn down, those rare games that they had on TV, used to turn the volume down just so I could listen to Niehaus on the radio.
Oh, we all did. I've been doing that up until, well, heck, I've probably been doing that into the 2000s, to be honest.
Nice.
Because it just was a better broadcast on the radio.
Absolutely.
More storytelling.
Yep.
You going to watch the All-Star game, Soulman? What do you mean,
No, I'm not.
Ah,
It's my 25th wedding anniversary, so I am not going to
so
watch
what?
it. You can tell that to my wife then.
Maybe I will.
Are you going to watch it?
I hope she doesn't listen to this. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I mean, it's the best All-Star game in all sports. I don't. There's nothing. I understand that the NFL All-Star game, for some reason, people watch it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
The NBA All-Star game, that's not basketball that they're playing.
No, it's not.
The hockey All-Star game, when we get a team, maybe I might start watching that, but I don't know any of the players. So, I'm. It's no. I mean, baseball, the All-Star game is the best. When it came here in Seattle, I was there for it. It was amazing.
I was too in '79. I didn't go to the game, but my
Oh,
brother.
79? I was talking about 2001.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How old are
See-
you? Oh, same age as me. Never mind.
1979, he did come to the Kingdom. My brother and I went
That's
to the All-Star
right.
practice, got lots of autographs. It's so fun.
That's pretty cool. Home Run Derby, what do you think about that?
They got some good people in it. Who's it? Bellinger and Yelich and
Guerrero,
and Alonso, that young kid Alonso,
Pete Alonso,
and
yep.
4 other people. But I think it'll be entertaining. I like how they do the seeds 1, 8, 2, 7.
Well, I'm glad that they went back to an even amount of all AL and NL.
Absolutely.
Also, it's a $1 million prize.
What is that for? Like donating to their favorite charity, or what's?
No, it's straight up cash, homie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's straight up into their pocket because they used to get, $30,000 in a pickup truck?
Yeah.
This is straight up 1 million
Wow.
bones. In a couple of years from now, I believe it's going to be more. But, yeah, it's straight up one.
Wow, that's
1 million.
crazy.
So there's a reason to win this.
That's true.
You believe in the curse? Do you believe in the home run curse?
Give me an example. What you
So
mean
there's this idea of a curse by weaker minds like Matthew Page. I don't know why I keep going back to him, but I figure if the guy's not here, take a shot.
There
at
you
him,
go.
right? But there's an idea that if you go participate in the home run derby, then you won't do well for the rest of the season. And there's some sort of statistical analysis that backs this up.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I believe in that or not. It's more. I think it's more mental that they get in their heads. But didn't that happen to Judge or Stanton?
Yeah, it happened to Judge a little bit, but I mean that's injury. Injuries can happen regardless of what happens. I took a look at the list of the winners since 2000, and I'm just like marking guys like Vladimir Guerrero, Jason Giambi, Ortiz, Stanton, Sammy Sosa. These are guys that hit more home runs after the home run derby than they did before.
Interesting.
And I look at the guys who didn't, like Luis Gonzalez, or there was a couple other guys on the list. I'm like, well, come on. There's a difference between Hall of Famers and just a joker who randomly won.
No, good
contest.
call. Good research on that. I agree with that.
Hey, your boy Daniel Vogelbach is the lone Mariner.
I like him. I know some people here don't like him, but
I'm the only other one here.
I'm happy for the kid. What's he going to probably get a pinch hit at bat? And
He's going to get an 8th inning pinch hit at bat, yeah.
and probably strike out or ground out, I'm sure.
And he'll get a walk, and
Think
then
so?
somebody will pinch run for him. I'm calling it right now. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's not going to take the bat off his shoulders. And
He's probably going to be the last guy off the bench, too.
should he have been in the home run contest?
No. I think better people got chosen for it.
I think there's an opportunity for baseball to. The home run contest is their opportunity to show it off, right?
Yes.
They need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They need Yelich. They need. They have a Dodger in there.
Bellinger.
They have a Met. Pete Alonso. They kind of need those star players
Absolutely.
to sell this game, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a. I don't know if a DH on a last place team does anything for.
Doesn't make me want to turn on the TV and watch it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What do you think about no more home field advantage in the All-Star game?
I didn't like it in the first place when they did that.
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. I'm tired of them messing, with tradition, but I'm sure all the players are and the managers and everybody is happy that it's back to the old way.
I definitely am as a fan. The idea that the Texas Rangers had an amazing record, and ended up losing to the Cardinals, the same
That's right.
St. Louis team that we saw. Well, probably not the same team because
No, I know what you mean.
But yeah, they Cardinals, I believe, only won 83 games that year.
That is correct, give or take. Yep.
Yeah, and it was something like they just barely got in and then steamrolled, and then got this advantage because it's a big advantage in baseball.
It is, it really is. You play in front of your home fans. 4 out of the 7 games?
Sleeping in your own bed.
Exactly.
Yeah. In those kind of games that have series, I mean, it's a huge advantage. And it was ridiculous that you award a team that didn't deserve it. Who knows? They might have still won anyway. But, I mean, it if I were a Rangers fan, I'd be upset.
Oh, they're still talking about it down in Texas. Trust me.
Then again, they had 2 chances to win it, and they didn't pull off either.
That's
so
true.
That's kind of on them.
Nelson Cruz and his defense. I remember that.
Oh boy. Well, let's finish up with the baseball there, and let's move over to football.
All right, football. Today, if you haven't heard, the 2013 Seahawks were voted the best defense of the decade.
Yeah. My notes are wrong there. It's best team of the decade.
Our best
by NFL.com.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. But how do you feel about that?
That's 100% correct. That is the absolute best team of the last 10 years. They were first in defense. They were first in scoring defense. We're so for 5 years in a row. And if you take that defense and then you look at the fact that they shut down the number 1 offense of all time, the Denver Broncos, that scored 38 points per game, then that's the best defense of all time. But what about the offense, where you're looking at a quarterback who in his early years stepped up time and time again when he was needed, and now has become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. You know that was the best quarterback on the field in any of those playoff games, and you know that was the best defense that we had probably seen in our lifetime.
Absolutely. Can't believe it's been 6 years already.
What were your thoughts when you saw that 2013 game?
I was shocked. I'm sorry. I don't really have much thought on it, but I was shocked when I saw that.
Well, compare it to the other Seahawks teams that you've seen in the past. Let me give you a couple. Let me give you 05 Seahawks. Let me give you 84 Seahawks.
Oh, I had a love for the 84 Seahawks when they went to the AFC Championship game. Yeah. How they just blew through the playoffs. When they beat Miami.
Yep.
And they ended up getting blown out by the Raiders. I remember that.
Weird. We beat the Raiders twice that year.
I know, but what's up with that?
And we couldn't beat them in the AFC Championship game.
But who we had Kurt Warner running back, and Dave Craig was.
That year he was actually injured.
That's right.
Yeah, and so it was.
That's right.
It was Morris and Dan Dornick.
That's right. Good call. And Steve Largent, of course, one of the best wide receivers of all time.
Darryl Sweet Feet Turner.
Kenny Easley. Dave Brown, yeah.
You look at that linebacking core. It also had Michael Jackson.
Keith Butler, who we talked about last week. Greg Gaines, I think, was around then.
Yep. Jacob Green.
Joe Nash, a nose tackle.
Jeff Bryant.
Right. From Clemson. I remember him.
My gosh, we know the entire defense of that. And it makes me wonder sometimes, okay, well, 84 was a different era in football than it is now. Does the Legion of Boom look better in comparison because there aren't as many prolific defenses now as there used to be?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I wonder about that as well.
And now we're going to move on to Seahawks are going to be playing New Orleans Saints this season.
That's right, 3rd week of the season.
What's your opinion on Drew Brees?
What's my opinion on Drew Brees? He's all right.
Just all right?
He's all right. In 2000, he took his Purdue Boilermakers into the Rose Bowl, faced the Washington Huskies and got his backside handed to him.
I remember that.
But since then, he's been all right. No, oh my God. I mean, he at 40 years old tallied almost 4,000 yards. He came 8 yards short of 4,000. Had just another sickening 32. What are my stats here? It was like 32 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, and he doesn't get sacked. And part of that was their offensive line. Ryan Rancic is the best offensive tackle in football.
Absolutely.
Or at least the national NFC. And Max Unger was one of the greats. He retired this year, though.
That's right, in the offseason, didn't he?
Yeah. And then, boy, oh boy, does it help to have somebody like Michael Thomas to throw to. 125 receptions for Michael Thomas.
That's crazy.
9 touchdowns, yes.
Good Lord. I remember when we were growing up, the most receptions in the season would be 70 or 80, and now they're getting over 100.
Yeah, consistently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, Drew Brees, here it is, 32 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I undercut him there. Sorry
That's
about
okay. I think he'll forgive you. How about the running back situation? They're two-headed monster.
Two-headed monsters no more. Mark Ingram, the longtime running back there, great all-around back, could catch, could run, could break a run, could pass block, could do a little bit of everything. None of them at a superior level. But if you're looking at a grade range, he's a solid B in pass blocking, a solid B in catching, and a solid B in running. And that's an amazing player to have. But they have him no longer. They do have Alvin Kamara, though. And Alvin Kamara went for 883 yards and looked pretty impressive doing so. They brought in Latavius Murray. Yeah, Latavius Murray from the Raiders. And he's going to be a bruiser back. And then they might add in the Mormon Missile, Taysom Hill. A slash type in the vein of Cordell Stewart. He can be a quarterback. He can be a running back. He can be a tight end, a wide receiver. He could probably even make change and serve hot dogs if you asked him to.
Speaking of Latavius Murray, he had a great year with the Raiders, and he went to Minnesota last year, and his numbers kind of dropped. Do you think playing in New Orleans with that offense and that he can turn his career around?
They're going to need him to. I mean, those are shoes to fill, and they're going to need him to be able to do that. The great thing is that Kamara will be the every down back.
Okay.
And Latavius Murray can just settle in as a change of pace guy.
Okay.
So he won't have the whole weight of the.
What's going on with their defense?
Well, it was okay. I mean, as great as their offense was, their defense was good enough.
Good enough. Okay.
You have Cameron Jordan on the offensive line, one of the best defensive tackles in football, and then you got Marcus Davenport, the number 1 draft pick from the previous year, doing lots of good. Did you watch the NFC Championship game last year?
I did.
So forget the blown call.
Okay. That was a bad call, though.
It was a bad call, but Goff was able to cut apart the pass defense. So that's something that they're going to need to look at as far as shoring that up. Eli Apple was better than he normally had been, and Marcus Lattimore, he needs to get up to. If they can just get again, if I give grades out, if they can get to solid B's in that pass defense, that offense is going to keep them running all day and night long.
Okay. And then they got robbed last year. Don't you agree?
Sure. I agree in the way that the Seattle Seahawks in the 2006 Super Bowl got robbed.
Fair enough.
They what I mean by this, by the way, is, yeah, it sucked. If I were one of their fans, I'd be really annoyed. I'd be pissed off, man. But it's the next year now. Now you got to ignore that and go beyond. I mean,
yeah.
What did we see? What did we see from the Seattle Seahawks defense in 2014? They were still complaining about that 2013 season, right?
Yeah, they were.
And what happened? You saw a decline.
Very much so.
In the team. You need to have a short memory, New Orleans. The fact that the Rams won on a lucky break is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you got to swallow it. And tomorrow's a new day, and go out there and do what you can. They probably have some of the best. They might be the best. Yeah, I'm going to say it. They're the most talented team in the NFC.
Wow.
They have the best players across the board, best offense. It supplants it by far, in my opinion, right now, supplants the Rams. The Rams are they're at this point. They had their window and it's over.
Okay. That's a huge prediction there.
It's a huge prediction. I mean, but the Rams are not as good as they were last year. The Saints are playing better than them. In that game, they were about equally matched, and that's kind of what happened.
Do the Seahawks have a chance against the Saints? And
I mean, this all is predicated on where we are 6 months from now.
Okay.
Who's injured, that kind of thing. Because if you look on paper, the Seahawks versus the Saints, game 1, first game of the year, Seahawks get their backsides kicked. Their defense can't stop the Saints' defense or offense. They'll be able to score a little bit, but I mean, based off of what the Seahawks roster is now, with a lot of rookies, and a shallow, paper thin defense, they're getting their backsides kicked.
But we have Mr. Fourth Quarter Russell Wilson, so
there's always hope.
There's hope. When
you have an A+ quarterback, there is always hope. I mean, I've seen Aaron Rodgers do it. I've seen Tom Brady do it, and I've seen Russell Wilson do it.
Yeah.
But no, if I just look at the simulation in Madden, I'm sure it's not good.
Copy that. Good analysis, Ham. I like that. We're going to talk Oregon Duck football. Why, I don't know, but no, I'm joking. But those Oregon Duck fans out there, those few and far between. One Matthew Page. What's your projection for Oregon football this year?
Oh, well, I hope Matthew Page and all other Oregon fans turn up their audio because they'll be impressed with what I have to say.
Oh, wow.
They're an above-average team.
Okay. Okay.
In my opinion, they're an 8 to 10 win team. 8 wins is their floor.
Okay.
10 wins is their ceiling. I kind of take a look at it from, is Justin Herbert going to be around? That's the scenario I look at.
Okay.
He came back for his senior season. It was not a very good thing for him to do, in my personal thought. And yes, I am a Husky fan. I do realize if he weren't here, our chances would look better. But my thought for him as a individual, as a human being, he should have looked at what Jake Locker did. Jake Locker came back for an extra year, should not have done so.
Oh, okay.
Should have went out. And the extra year could potentially be the difference from him going in the top 5 this year to dropping to like 15 or 20. And why? Because he'll probably get injured again.
Matthew Page says he's next year's number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft.
Okay, but if he blows out a shoulder or an ACL, what does that drop to?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have been top 5. I mean, he could have been top 5 this year. The Giants would have selected him rather than that Duke quarterback, and he basically is putting himself in a position to get himself injured. Not the greatest offensive line in the world. They do bring back 5 guys, but the problem is the 5 guys that they brought back were the same ones that got him injured last year. so whoop-de-frickin' do that they're juniors and seniors because they got him injured.
Anybody else on offense that catches your eye?
Yeah, their running back situation is pretty good. Well, actually, is it pretty good? I mean, they had a dual-headed monster that ran for 1,400 yards, and I'm trying to remember their names right now. I thought I wrote them down on here, but here it is: C.J. Vardell and Travis Dye. See, I do prepared for this, people. I do write these names down. But they went for over 1,800 yards. I said 1,400. They went for 1,800 yards apiece, or
Combined,
between them.
yeah.
Pretty impressive until you look at extrapolating how many yards per carry. That's 4.4 yards per carry. They're not game
Oh,
breakers.
that's it, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, while that does it in the NFL, it doesn't do it in college. You want way over 5.
It shows. I don't know if it's them or that awful offensive line that they have. Then shows more weakness there.
I mean, I watched the game. I watched a couple games of theirs last year, and I think it's the offensive line. I
Okay.
don't think they're bad running backs. I just don't think that they had much to work with and got as much as they could out of it. Their top receiver went, so we'll see who steps up for them as they come back. But I don't think that's really that important. And Oregon fans might love hearing this from a Husky, but it doesn't matter much because Herbert can make the passes to anybody.
Yeah.
You just need a halfway competent person to catch the ball.
Good point. Very good point.
Yep.
Anything on defense? Do they even have a defense?
They got an awesome defensive line.
Okay.
A really good defensive line. But as I was looking through their roster, a lot of question marks in that back end for pass defense. You look at the games that they lost. Their utter humiliation to the hands of the Arizona Wildcats, getting stomped by who did they get stomped by? It was the Wildcats. Sorry, they got stomped by the Wildcats, and some of their other losses, they just couldn't stop the quarterbacks.
That's right. Wazoo beat them too.
Wazoo. That's who I was thinking of. That they couldn't stop Wazoo. Actually, they couldn't really stop UW. They couldn't stop Stanford. They did get the win against UW. I'm not going to make any excuses because UW didn't stop them either. So it's, they won fair and square. But yeah, no. Wazoo threw all over them. Arizona Wildcats, who don't even really have a passing game, threw all over them, and that's a little concerning. When you take a look at their pressures last year, they didn't get the pressures on the quarterback that they needed to. But they're supposed to have, everything that I've read, they're supposed to have a better defensive line this year.
Interesting. I don't know if I back you up on that just because I'm anti-Duck fan, but you could be right. They do get a lot of good recruits. I know their head coach is a good recruiter, from what I was told. The
only thing you got to keep in mind, though, Soulman, is that you got freshmen on the team.
Yeah.
99.99% of freshmen that start don't make an impact.
Very good point.
Like a huge impact.
Yeah, very good point.
I mean, there's a reason why most of them redshirt, and there's a reason why very few, like I guess Cam Newton made an impact as a freshman. Jalen Hurts did. Those are rare people.
Very rare, yes.
There's not many of those.
And does UW and Wazoo have to worry about, and what's their weaknesses?
As I was looking at it earlier today, UW's concern is going to be Justin Herbert, and this is kind of funny. It's not the same concern that Wazoo would have.
Okay.
UW has a depleted defensive back core, so expect Oregon to maybe shift away from their run-heavy centric game against UW. But what's going to happen against Wazoo is they're going to go run-heavy in that game and try to take the ball out of the air raid offense.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I see Mario Cristobal, their head coach, doing different game plans for different teams, which is what he did last year. When you look at the Red Box Levi Stadium San Jose Bowl, or whatever the heck that's called, whatever terrible bowl that Oregon went to last year, they enacted a grinded out, boring, I'm just going to flat out say boring game to keep Michigan State from lighting up the scoreboard.
Okay.
They won 7-6, but the thing is they won, right?
Yes. Yep.
They had to deal with, Oregon had to deal with a lot of injuries. So they did the best they can with what they had and got the W. And I think that's probably the hallmark of Cristobal is he's not going to be ensconced in a singular philosophy that maybe the likes of Chip Kelly was, or who was that horrible guy a couple years ago?
Oh,
the one that went to Florida State.
We talked about him too on our trip to Pullman last year.
I'm sure Matthew Page will leave a comment below.
Yes,
as to that guy's name. I call him the Oregon Willingham.
There you go.
Well, great. I'm glad we got to meet up here, Soulman. You got some great articles on the Bellingham Bells and Aqua Sox coming up, and I've seen them throughout the week on our website, SeattleSportsUnion.com. And you also do a lot of great tweets.
Thank you.
What's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Soulman156.
Soulman156. That's at Soulman156.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
But also check out our great tweets at Seattle Sports U as well. You got any last words for our audience out there?
Go travel up to Bellingham to see a game, because their season, if you blink your eyes, the season's going to be over. You'll have a great experience. Head up there. Also head out here to Funko Field to catch an Aqua Sox game. I think they're going to keep their team together this year. They are fun to watch, and right now I'm predicting playoffs for them. And then one last thing, Wazoo lost their starting safety, Jalen Thompson, so he's going to be in this supplemental draft next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he bought over-the-counter amphetamines or something.
Okay.
Something illegal, but I think that's going to be a huge hole in our defense, so we'll see what happens there. I am concerned about that.
Okay, great. And there's big news from the Seattle Sports Union front. We will be at a Cougar game.
Yes, we will.
Third year in a row.
Opening weekend against New Mexico State.
Oh no, not the Aggies.
Not the Aggies, yeah.
Aggies are I don't like them.
I don't either.
they're the arch nemesis of Seattle University, and I don't like them.
Nah.
I'm against them, and I'll be happy just this once for the Cougars to win a game.
There you go. Good. I'll hold you to that.
Just the once.
Just once.
Last year, folks, we went to see the Eastern Washington University Eagles take on the Washington State, and boy, oh boy, the indignity that I had to suffer listening on the sidelines as I'm taking photographs from the horrible, just wretched crimson and gray folks out there. Boy, they were laying into me. But you know what? It was still a fun time, still a great time. One of the penultimate locations to watch a football game.
Absolutely. It's such a they seat only 34,000 people there, but it's just so close in, and it's loud and just great atmosphere. Yeah,
you bet it was. All right, great. We're gonna head out, folks, because those clouds are coming in, and I'm starting to get cold. And I bet you're getting cold too.
Have a great night. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. I'm off to Cooperstown.
Oh, just rub that in, Soulman.
Watch us on. Yeah, I'll post some pictures and maybe videos on our page. So
cool, great, everybody. Thank you for joining us at Seattle Sports Union. My name is Abraham, the Ham DeWeese, and this is Brian Soulman Solack.
Have a good night. Good analysis. I like that. Fuck, it got cold though. Yeah.
Oops.
You're not recording that. Oh, you did.
I think I did.
Anyway. You can edit that out.
Hey, welcome, guys, once again to the Seattle Sports Union podcast. My name is Abraham, that's Ham, and this feller to my right is one Brian Soulman. Solack, how you doing, Soulman?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. We decided to come down to the Aqua Sox Stadium, that is Funko Field, on a day off, just because we wanted to get some of the vibe for our podcast here, didn't we?
Absolutely. Good call.
Hey, not bad. We're over here in right field, overlooking Freddie Funko, the 16-foot tall statue, who peers over and protects our glorious stadium.
He does. That's such a great addition, though.
It is really cool. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's a family-friendly product that goes along with the environment and the team that we love.
Definitely. Hopefully it doesn't rain here, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to get right to the podcast because the clouds are looming quite strong, and we have many things to talk about. Okay, Soulman, I want to talk about our Seattle Mariners. So right now we got three players. So before we get to the Cardinals series, I want to talk about three minor leaguers who have made their way to the All-Stars Futures game every year. The Major League Baseball has the best of the best from the minor leagues, right?
Yes, they do. And this year,
But they're laying into me. But you know what? It was still a fun time, still a great time. One of the penultimate locations to watch a football game.
absolutely.
Uh,
It's such a. They only seat only 34,000 people there, but it's just so close in, and you can. It's loud and just great atmosphere.
yeah, you bet it was. All right, great. We're gonna head out, folks, because those clouds are coming in, and I'm starting to get cold. And I bet you're getting cold too.
Have a great night. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. I'm off to Cooperstown.
Oh, just rub that
I
in,
have to-
Soul Man.
Watch us on. Yeah, I'll post some pictures and maybe videos on our page. So
Cool, great, everybody. Thank you for joining us at Seattle Sports Union. My name is Abraham, the Ham DeWeese, and this is Brian Soulman Solack.
have a good night. Good analysis. I like that. Fuck, it got cold though. Yeah.
Oops.
You're not recording that. Oh, you did.
I think I did.
Anyway, you can edit that out.